First off, let's take a look at these two backpacks right here. Here's the East German one, and here's the Swiss M90. Now, I've shown in other videos where the straps that come with the East German one are pieces of crap. Absolute pieces of junk. And let's get this out of the way. That's for the Zeltbahn. What I did is I took these Polish load-bearing straps that you see they're laying around that really aren't useful for anything, but I've seen tons and tons of these at the Army surplus outlets. I decided these were pretty good quality. They're padded and everything, and they're just absolutely indestructible. They're Warsaw Pact era. I decided to take them and meld it into, as you can see there, that really isn't any kind of a load bearing thing. I just took that hook and then added the canteen to it. Here's where it hooks in. It hooks directly into the pack. And this is a no real modification to it at all. I just basically hooked it in. And I took all of the elements that were already with it, as you can see there, and buckled it in. Now I've got, of course, side straps for the Zeltbahn. That's not what we're talking about right now. This is a very simple setup. It even has a bayonet frog that's already built into it, right there. And because keep in mind this was load bearing, I just kind of put that in there. If you need a field knife or something, I can take that off. So I tested this out in the woods. I love it. It's great. And the reason that this backpack is important is that it is waterproof. It has this rubber coating on the inside. There's already a Zeltbahn in here from the last time I went out. I remember that. It rained really heavily, and this held up great. There was a big downpour when I was using all this, and it worked. See, this all comes out here, and you can cinch this up. The inside is almost completely waterproof. And you can use it as a regular backpack or like a dry sack. And yes, you can put ammo cans in there. But the drawback of this pack right here is it's kind of small, doesn't hold a lot. It's a roll top. And you're really not very versatile as far as that's concerned, but it is rugged tough. So here we go here. This one is rubber on the outside and completely on the inside. And it has a drawstring even. Completely cinch that up. You know what I'm talking about. So when I saw this at my local surplus store, I think it was around $14, something like that, $12 even maybe, I jumped at the chance. I had to have it. I said, this is the perfect outfit for what I have in mind. Some real deep in the woods bushcraft type situations where you really want waterproof, man. You want waterproof. And it has a whole lot more room than the East German outfit. It has these side components and different kinds of little belt loops. If you look at my earlier video on this, there was some kind of silly helmet harness and a bunch of other junk, all kinds of this crisscrossy stuff that I just didn't need. I ended up cutting that off. I took it on a short hike. That seemed to work out pretty well. I simplified this. The next issue was when I took it hiking. It worked okay I just put a light load in there just to test it out. These little bikini spaghetti straps were the situation. I looped them down through here, and it did work. But now if I put a heavy load in here, I don't know about these. And it's just, somebody told me this actually hooked into a load-bearing harness. So this was LBE type situation. A lot of armies, like during the 80s and 90s, had this thing where they were going to hook your backpack into the soldiers' quick release kind of load bearing type system, which I'm not really that big on that. So the long story short, this really has just never really ever gone off as far as I'm concerned. It's just, you know, I wanted to like this, but I just can't, I'm not comfortable with these straps really. This little bit of a bikini spaghetti strap type situation there. So we're going to remedy that right now, today. So I acquired these German Y straps, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with them. I believe these are West German. They're not Bundeswehr. They're like not for the regular army. They're like, I don't know, police, or, you know, kind of like a rescue, civil defense type thing. I really don't know exactly. They're really well made though. They're made with that German quality and that stitch leather and everything. And I got to thinking, I know what I can do with these. These will be the straps that go to that backpack. They'll work perfectly. I went to my Ace Hardware and I picked up these two dog collars. Alright, it's got the D-ring on it. And one of these. It's always good to have these laying around. Or you could use like a mountain climbing carabiner if you want. That's what we're going to use. A few dollars. This wasn't very expensive. And they're black, tactical. They'll meld right in with this system that I have in mind. Very good. Now the next thing is to, very simply, put these through here. Well, let's see. Maybe it went better this way. Less twist there. Yeah. And you can, of course, adjust these, but you get kind of a quick release system. I could have made this more of a swivel. If I dremeled this out a little bit more, I could have had maybe a little bit of a kind of a swivel thing going on there, but I don't think that's going to matter. I can always do that. So let's do the next one. So line it up. Very simple. I'm just taking what's there and making it work. All I had to do was just kind of look at all this and decide. So this way you don't have to do any kind of a sewing, stitching into it. And you can undo it if you want. I mean, you can always change it out with something else. You might be able to do this with Alice pack straps also, something like that. I've not looked at that yet, but that would work. So the next thing here is to simply, I had to cut off the back Y strap. I didn't really show that on camera, but I did do that. I did cut that off. So now all I have to do now is hook this into that. There's this cross strap that goes through there. See that? And voila, you have these neat, nifty straps. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Because this is a little floppy, right? This thing right here that came on the pack, I'm going to hook onto this D-ring right here. These kind of push forward. You put your thumb right there, So this pulls out a little bit. Fantastic! Make sure to line that up. Remember to push. That seems to do a little different from the other one. I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Look at that. Is that cooler? I can't wait to test this out. Is that cool or what? Zoom back a little bit here. Now, I may cut these side ones off. They're stitched in there. I don't know if I need that or not. That might be just extra junk that we don't need. I'm going to take a look at it. I didn't want to do that first, though, in case I decide that I did like it. But I'm going to take it out hiking here for a little bit, and we'll do an assessment of it. And I'm out in the woods. And I ended up, after the clip, cutting those goobers off that were on the side there that kind of went around, and they just were basically useless. So no purpose that I could come up with whatsoever. So what we end up here is just this number. Very simple, very rugged, and I didn't even have to even adjust it from how I put it on there, because I am a pretty big guy, so you know I can really use all of this extra room. It's great. Let's go for a hike. Don't you wish you were out here with me today? It's great. Out in the woods. Mountainous area. I like to shoot a lot of my shows at this spot. Nothing but the wind and the birds and the trees. Alright, I'm walking around. I have a little bit of weight into this pack. It does pull a little bit back on me a little bit. It might be cool to have a cross strap maybe at some point. I'll think about that. Of course, I've done reviews, you know, on commercial packs and things like that, but I love military surplus. That's really my first love, is military surplus stuff. You just can't beat it. I love the ruggedness of it, especially this old time type material. The Swiss and German Cold War type equipment, because you have to think, the Swiss have always worried about being invaded, you know, from way back. And they were surrounded in World War II by Italy and Germany, who were attacking everybody at that time. Or the threat of invasion has always been there. And during the Cold War, people thought that attack was imminent. So they weren't, you know, they weren't trying to be cheap on their equipment necessarily. It mostly had to be rugged and survive World War III. That's what it was made for. So we get the benefit of that these days when they're selling all that old stuff off. You know, it's great. Just going for a little hike here. Let's see what we can find interesting. We do kind of a 360 kind of thing here. What's really nice out here? I thought it'd be super cold, but actually down in here it's actually pretty nice. The tree canopy kind of dampers everything. But you saw this modification here, folks, first, right here on Bug Out Shelters. And you're welcome to try it yourself and see what you can come up with. But I think that this is one of the best modifications out there for something that really did need a little improvement. Because, in all honesty, I'm planning on getting a lot of this equipment ready for going deeper into the woods than I already am. We'll be building some shelters and things here. I'm testing out some different ideas on primitive shelters. And it's really weird, you hear all these reports of people who are afraid of disappearing in the woods. I want to disappear in the woods. I want to disappear. I mean, you hear reports of people that just dropped out of society completely and were discovered years later. They'd been living in the woods. They'd survived. Sometimes like in dugout shelters or cabins that they'd squatted, caves, that type of thing. And yeah, so it is possible. And if things get bad, you know, you really want to, that might be your only alternative. Also, you need to become a master of camouflage. You need to become a master of stealth. You need to know the way of the land. The way of the land. Become a master of stealth. Become a master of camouflage. Hope you enjoyed this. Please hit like and subscribe. Bug Out Shelters. I'll see you in the next video.